Welcome to the Gambling Show. I'm your host, TJ Carpenter, and guess what? I am picking 74% against the spread. It's a real number. I'm actually doing that. So you better listen to me, or else. Social video for exactly what you need. Catapult. Unique. Powerful. Creative. Week 7 of the NFL is here, and no, unfortunately, unlike last week, the Pope is not making picks against the spread. Really hope he was, but this week is not his week. Which is weird because 7 is a holy number. Picked on week 6, not on week 7. Kind of starting to wonder about that guy. First he's picking games against the spread. What's next? You telling me Bill Belichick is getting into heaven? Texans at Colts. Man. That's choking right there. That's choking. Man. Kind of like the Chiefs the last 2 weeks. I love even lines. Look, the Texans could score 50 in this game, which is a good reason to take the over. They're not going to score 50, but they could. The only thing standing in their way? Themselves. There's no team in the NFL that's better at not scoring touchdowns that they should than the Texans. Both the Texans and the Colts beat the Chiefs, so that makes them Eskimo brothers. I'm sorry, my apologies. Indigenous peoples of the North brothers. That makes this game a pick'em, given that Bill O'Brien is hated so much that his own face is trying to suck itself out of existence, and Frank Reich looks like he would really like to have a conversation with you about your mom. That also makes this game a pick'em. Brissett and Watson are both touchdown machines. Also a toss-up. Although I will say Brissett probably has a better game here because the Texans' defense is hamstrung. Literally. Both of their starting corners have hamstring issues coming into this game. But this too is a pick'em, which means that this game is going to come down to kicking, and that is squarely an advantage for the Colts. Adam Vinatieri has been kicking since Johnny Unitas was in the league. And I don't think I need to explain to you how terrible the Texans' kicking game is. It's always terrible. Always. That's why they're the Texans. Take the Colts to win and the over on 47.5. Saints at Bears. Last week, the Saints got the blessing from His Holiness the Pope, and they went on to defeat the Jags in a game in which they were underdogs. Score? God won. Dirty, sinful, awful, wrong Vegas odds makers, 0. And this week, the Saints scout team is on a whole other level. That's right. To prepare for the Bears this weekend, the Saints are fighting actual bears. The Bears are cautiously optimistic that Mitch Trubisky will play in this game, and that news immediately made everybody in Vegas put money on the Saints. Remember when ESPN asked the big immortal question, what if Michael Vick were white? You probably don't, but I remember. It was a different time. We all have these big questions we want answered in life. Where do we come from? What happens to us when we die? Are we alone in the universe? And what would it be like if Michael Vick were white? We never got an answer to that big question, unfortunately, but we do have an answer to the question, what would Donovan McNabb be like if he were white? And the answer is Mitch Trubisky, someone who overthrows or outright misses wide open receivers on almost every drive. Take the Saints to win outright, and the over on 38 points. Once again, Teddy touchdowns will represent most of the scoring in this game, and his oppressive, tyrannical reign of joy and happiness will continue to terrorize, this time, the Chicago Bears in Chicago, much like he did when he was in Minnesota, going 3-1 against the Bears before he was injured in that terrible knee explosion accident, and eventually was replaced by a bag of powdered milk that the Vikings paid $100 million for. Eagles at Cowboys. Doug Peterson guaranteed a win in this game and then quickly recanted that after he soon remembered that you can't guarantee anything with the Eagles. The only thing that you can guarantee from the Eagles is that their fans will instigate and assault opposing teams in their own stadium. That is a guarantee. Meanwhile, in Dallas, Jason Garrett guaranteed that his team would be in attendance for this game and that he would be in a very non-threatening mood. After deciding that having testicles was not the way to go against the Jets, Jason Garrett has reverted back to his department store mannequin self, genitalless and brainless. Jerry Jones said that terrible officiating actually makes the game more entertaining, so you should quit your bitching. Take the Eagles here. Sure, the Cowboys are at home when they're playing a team that has more identities than a transgender thread on Twitter, but you can't trust a man with no identity. Sorry to dead name you, Jason. Also, take the over here. Both of these teams have given up entirely on playing any and all defense. Patriots at Jets. Sam Darnold is back. But if there's anything I know, it's that the Patriots are not the Cowboys. Thinking that Bill Belichick is going to play the same tepid, nutless defense that the Cowboys employed against Sam Darnold is a mistake. There are a lot of things you can call Bill Belichick: a cheater, a heartless demon who is hell-bent on destroying any and all happiness that an NFL fan has ever had. But you can't call him weak. He's going to rip Sam Darnold apart and put his little head on a spike, just like the tiny little Lego man he is. Yeah, this is an analogy about Bill Belichick being a 9-year-old psychopath. You gotta figure it out early. The signs start early. I learned this from watching Mindhunters. The Jets are worse than a terrible team. They're a terrible team that occasionally wins games, even if by accident. This just isn't going to be one of those games. Take the Patriots to cover and also take the over. The Patriots may not always cover these huge spreads that they get every single week, but picking on sad, poor, helpless creatures like the Jets is what they do. And remember, if you ever see a child exhibiting disturbing behavior, please tell an adult immediately. We do not need more than one Bill Belichick in the world. Can you imagine the NFL with 2 Bill Belichicks? Social video for exactly what you need. Catapult. Unique. Powerful. Creative.